We live. Peace and power, y'all. I'm just giving homage to the ancestors and giving homage to the creator, you know, and I was in prayer as Born launched the launched our broadcast tonight, man. I was actually in prayer and praying for our youth and praying for the Black family, praying for Black people all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, I don't know, man. I just feel strengthened today. Like I just feel like something powerful is on the horizon. You know what I'm saying? I'm just really feeling like we're at a crossroads as a people. You know what I'm saying? And I know the victory is in the future for African people, because that's how these things work. That's how humanity works. You know what I'm saying? And so I know that victory is coming, but I know it's going to be some pain along the way, little sacrifice along the way, right? But I pledge to make my life a statement. I pledge to make my life a statement towards our potential, right? It's Black August. It's time to self-reflect. It's time to sacrifice. It's time to look at self, man. Look in the mirror. We spend a lot of time, especially those of us who spend time on social media, a lot of time engaged in talking about each other or watching other people talk about each other, right? Watching people claim, you know, speak as if they walking in perfection, then putting somebody else down who's also falsely claiming to walk in perfection. And we get a steady diet of looking at other people. And how cool is it to be able to sit back and just judge somebody else? Boy, ain't that cool? Just sit back and just judge other Africans. You hid, you off in the corner. They can't see you. How many of us are deflected, running from our own issues, running from the things that we need to shore up, right? Running from that, but engaging and talking about or looking at and watching others get quote unquote exposed. Well, it's Black August, man, and it's time for you to do self-reflection. It's time for us all to engage in self-reflection, right? It's time to stop paying attention to the finger, right? And that one finger pointing out that way, and look at them three fingers that's pointing right back at you. You see what I'm saying? This is a month of reflection, a month of study. This is the month you pay attention to your health. This is that month. This is that accountability. I mean, it should be like that all the time, but this is that month. You know, I know we like to talk about white folks. We like to talk about what's being done to us, but this is that month where we talk about our potential. This is that month where we reflect on what's right with us, where our strengths are, where our challenges are. That's what this month is. That's what Black August is, right? Peace and power to all those that are watching on Facebook. And let me see if I could go to my page and monitor who's watching on the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I think that's where you got to catch us. You got to catch us on the YouTube. So step to my page, hit that link, and join us live on YouTube right now. We're going to talk about African independence. We're going to talk about Black August. We're going to talk about African-centered education and the role that it plays in the development of Black people, right? The opportunities that are out here, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. You know, that's what we're going to reflect on. Amin and Yeye going to be joining me in a minute. We're going to talk to y'all about what we've been up to. You know what I'm saying? And hit me in the chat if you're here. You know, hit me in the chat. If you're here, let me know. You know what I'm saying? The comments will pop up. All right. I'm going to share it to some groups too. I'm going to share it to some groups as well. And I ain't worried about a bunch of people showing up. I really just want serious people to show up. That's all. I really want, it's time to dialogue. It's time to just dialogue with those who are serious about organizing, dialoguing with those who are serious about nation building, serious about Black family building, and let me share this with my people. Let me share this with my comrades in the Republic of Africa as well. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's so much going on right now, but it's opportunity out here. And I know there's a lot of, peace, bro. Man, my boy Justice, what's happening, Justice? Baddest producer in the land. If y'all heard our song Gods, and man, that's a Justice track right there, but this brother is talented beyond measure. Peace to you, black man. Peace to you, man. Put your links in the chat too. When people come in, if you have a business, you put your information in there, man. Put your information in there. All right. I'm gonna spread the word right quick. We ain't Russia. You know what I'm saying? We Africa. Boom. Y'all heard that? Y'all catch that. All right then. Let me what's up, Born?
Here you go. Look, I had to go live because you was in that zone in the moment, and
yes, sir.
It was too good to me for me not to share it with the world. The world needed.
I say. Yes,
where
sir.
You was at. You understand?
Man, we've been reflecting on things, me and Mom and Nkoyo, man, and we just talking about our own spiritual journeys, our own need for more, humility and remembering, the source of all this power, where it comes from. And, that's just what we own today, man. We talking about building for our family, building for our community, building for our people. But we got to recognize, man, it's about the creator. We on a mission. You on a mission, man. Ordained by the creator and the ancestors, man. And that's what it is. That's where we at, Born. That's what
I gotta tell y'all how much I love y'all. I'm gonna play this song. I'm not playing my intro because you gave the greatest intro in the universe. Okay, so y'all together.
Yeah, thanks to the creator.
Y'all know y'all my favorite new African family, and I'm gonna play this song. And after I play this song, I'm gonna introduce y'all properly. Okay, I don't want people to think that we do that around here. Okay, that's my honor and my privilege. So let me just play this for the family. Take y'all back, because now that y'all here, this the spirit. Like Baba set the tone for how the spirit gonna go with this whole combo right here. So this is right here.
The black woman is God, plain and simple. She's the mother of all Africanity, and I'm her companion, her complement, her confidant. Since the beginning, so it will be in eternity. Our ancestors shine through us. Our offspring validate our existence.
No survival without resistance. Akibalon, stand up. Black love, stand up. Every God, every goddess, forever united and unstoppable.
Giving honor to the ancestors, those who came before us. All the wisdom that they show us. They patient cause they know us. When we fussing and we fighting, they manage to enlighten, enhance our insight. So I add a like and writing. Our connection is a titan. Our love is a colossal. Disagreement is a fossil. I am your apostle. Our love is like a journal. Turn the page eternal. Our souls intertwine. The theology of time dictates that we rewind and go back to the beginning when the deities were women. Time to stop pretending that I hate you when I love you. Putting other things above you. Don't like that others drug you. Not me, I always dug you. I believe we've been together since the birthing of forever. You work the stormy weather. I'll never do it better than I do it in your presence. You validate my lessons. My God begets blessings. That's why I call her essence.
The black man is God, plain and simple. The world sees your greatness, why can't you? Y'all wanna see the sisters step up and lead this fight? Cause we will, but not without you. You're a warrior, a scientist. I'm your complement, your companion. I only wanna see you on the throne.
So black man, step up. Kings, step up. Ain't no way we don't rise when we got a black woman that knows she's God. Ebony essence.
You my dove, I'm your nuke, you the truth, I'm the proof, no abuse. My masseuse, tie me up and turn me loose. Sebek and Heteru, giving thanks to Neteru. For the king I get in you, no regrets in picking you. Like I said to us all, I remembered who you are. I'm your moon, you're my star, your performance over par. Through the pain and the scars, the shackles and the bars, I fly from here to Mars with my feelings in the jar. If I thought it set you free, I gotta have you next to me. Your intellect vexes me, your conversation ecstasy. You and me is heavenly. Freedom is our legacy. I've yet to see another brother that can touch the best in me. DOK and Ebony, together for eternity. Even when you hurting me, I'm by your side, certainly. Written in the sacred text, from this cycle to the next. I'm the most and you the best. Face to face, we ace the test, huh?
See,
what y'all don't understand is we were meant to move in harmony. Two minds, one soul.
It was written in the ancient scrolls. With the black woman as your backbone, how could you fold? Take back what they stole. They broke the mold, but these arms were made to hold. And hold on, we will. Nigga, be still. Bitches, be real. The deal has been sealed, and all who come against gets killed.
Man.
All right. Now we can open in proper order. Okay, we could do this properly.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, brother, now I was born. I'm here with New African royalty and New African government. Okay, let me do this right. You understand what I'm saying? They said it couldn't be done. We don't have no structure and blah blah blah. You got representation that the African nation is governed, and it's governed in its new African greatness with the great minds that we got here today. We got two royal examples, two emissaries from a provincial government that we said and act like didn't exist. Like we just out here willy-nilly, we ain't got nothing. This we got living proof that then dedicated more than a decade of restoring the honor and the intellect and the sanctity of the new African family. We got new African warriors here that have trod this path and sacrificed greatly, and even sometimes at the expense of themselves and their own family for the benefit of our family. Those new African children, that new African village, that new African community. We have the epitome and the embodiment of the phrase Temple of New Africa right here in the way that we should be. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce and present the others. My favorite new African royal family, Baba Amin and Mama Nkoyo.
Freedom land, power. Yeah. Yes. Appreciate it, Born. You know what I'm saying? And much love to you, man. The hardest working African. You know what I'm saying? In media, not just new African media either, just media, period. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. So definitely we appreciate you, man. We appreciate your consistency. We appreciate you thinking of us.
Make it easy.
And allowing us to sharing your platform, easy. Brother.
When I think about the sacrifices that was made before me, you know, it gives me great honor and privilege. A couple of days ago, I was talking about the African woman and the African mother. Dr. Betty Shabazz, like she came to me, you know. I think it was because I was playing Woman's Pain like the night before, and I think she just showed up. Like, do you really understand like what it really means? You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, sisters sometimes, like, do we hearken to the voice? Like, you know, when you ask that question, what you know about a woman's pain? And I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about her and her divinity. And my mother came, you know, and I'm just thinking about the African woman in totality, like, boom, and we don't understand the sacrifices. We don't know. We, as African men, we ain't never had to make space in our body for a whole human being.
Right.
To grow there. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm like,
absolutely.
How did she never heal? Dr. Betty Shabazz, she never healed. Her mind frame. Her mind frame, what she said when she was introduced to Malcolm, when she saw him speak, she was impressed. She said she saw that he was selfless, a selfless man to the people. But when it came to him, that he had nobody in his corner, that he can lean on and depend on. And she thought that she could be that one for him.
I say.
And then she learned what that was like from seeing him and hearing him speak, the ability to read him in that place. He was everything to everybody else. He was on fire. He was a firecracker. The sister that invited him, Dr. Betty Shabazz, to the place said, "You got to meet my minister. You know, he's fine. He's intelligent. He's disciplined." And all the sisters want him.
Right. Come on.
You understand what I'm saying? This is how she described it. So she's like, all right, I guess I'll go see what's going on. And when she met that man, this is how she described him.
Yeah.
And she saw her mission.
Deep.
Her mission as a nurse to give him the bedside manner for him to be able to do his mission. She empowered him. She pushed him. So all of those things that she loved about him became some of the things she started to despise after a while. Right. You meet a man on the mission.
Yes.
You're like, okay, I'm part of the mission, but this mission sometimes got my man, then you understand what I'm saying? So pulling that out, and I'm like, man, we don't understand the sacrifice. They're like, okay, they killed Malcolm, but they killed Malcolm in front of this African warrior queen who was pregnant with twins and 4 daughters on the front row.
Right.
So there was a period on his life, but there wasn't a period on his legacy.
Right.
And as they came at his mother, after the death of his father, they came at Dr. Betty Shabazz.
Right.
So she was able to finish up her schooling, get her doctorate, raise these 6 African warriors, women, and then minister unto women.
Come on. Yes.
Young women, teenage mothers, and the like, all the way through their journey.
Right.
And she was she was also one of the first vice president of the Republic of New Africa as well.
Right. So the sacrifice is great. But I don't think we really take note of that. So as we walking into Black August, it's Black August for a reason. So we like, okay, this is for the political prisoners. What about their families at home?
Yes.
Who did that 38-year bid with these brothers that's behind bars?
Right.
Their family,
Right.
So the sacrifice is great. And if that ain't a reason for New African men to be in warrior mode, I don't understand.
Right.
Maybe I ain't got it together. So
yeah.
Always a pleasure and an honor to have y'all. So in the spirit of Dr. Betty Shabazz and my mama, I greet y'all in the spirit of love that only a New African can provide.
I say.
So y'all need to talk to me about some stuff, man. I heard some murmurs in the wind. Y'all kept on the raps for a while. You understand what I'm saying? I want to go right there to ministers of education of Provisional Government Republic of New Africa. How does it feel? Talk to us.
Right. We want to say free the land. All of our fellow members of the government and all conscious New African citizens out there, and of course when we say free the land, the land is the basis of sovereignty. And that's we got to get some earth under our feet that we call our own. You know what I'm saying? And so it's an honor to be a part of the provisional government. Shout out to our president, sister Sama'at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You open it up talking about the Black woman, what you know about a woman's pain. Our vice president, Mama Ayo. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll yes. You know what I'm saying? All of our ministers of information, our ministers of finance, and the whole 9 yards. And then we were invited or asked to accept the responsibility as co-ministers of education, myself and Amin and Yeye, man, and we were honored to step up and do our part, you know what I'm saying, in helping to
get that
develop,
clap.
You know what I'm saying, develop our government, and I mean, over 50 years ago, 1968, Detroit, Michigan, 500 New Africans came together in Detroit and came out with a provisional government. Over the years, they even developed our own constitution, the Code of Umoja, so We hold elections, every 3 years. And this is an institution that's been maintained since then. You know, there's been ups and downs and that sort of things. But everyone really study the history of the RNA, study the history of the Republic of New Africa, you know, and we have study groups popping up all over the country. That's one of our charges as co-minister of education. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have study groups popping up all over the country where we're gonna learn this history, you know what I'm saying, and of course learn our story in general, but we got to put the history of this great movement in it as well, because it's been the goal of many of our leaders, right, from Marcus Garvey on up, that we work to establish a nation of our own and even treat our communities as nations inside of nations. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so just in that spirit, we're honored to take on that task and to do our part until it's time to cycle through and someone else comes through to do their part. And I read a mantra today, you know, work as if you're gonna live forever, live as if you might not live tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And so we putting in this work, just like you lay the first brick on a pyramid. This ain't the first brick in the RNA pyramid, but you know, we ain't at the top of the pyramid yet by no means. So we're here to lay our brick, our stone, and make way for the next wave.
I say, and to continue what Bob is saying, it's only, I think it's only befitting that the two of us, this is the next evolution of a part of our journey in education, in Africans in education, I'm so ecstatic and honored because I love researching Black Panthers. I love researching all organization groups of Marcus Garvey, and I was researching them. And when I found out they had their own government, they have the black print laid out on how we can, for economic plan, everything, how we can live and thrive and protect here on this land, you know, for those who wish to stay here. And I'm because we can bring it to the next fruition. And we've been educating together for over 30 something years, and well, not me together, but number-wise combined 30 years. But yeah. I'm just kidding. But no, and to be able to take on the task of educating even further with government. We got the education of our history, of our knowledge, and academics, but to do government as well. And man, just honored.
And we're back in school, so that puts us back in school. Because this is a level of organizing I have been involved in before. So I'm learning, and I enjoy it. I enjoy, I'm learning how to meet, boy. And I'm not a good meter. I'm learning how to meet, Wow. They didn't call it ADD when we was in school. They just say that boy can't pay attention. Right. And that was me. It wasn't no pill for it. You just had to deal with it, So I'm free the land. I'll be like, free me from this meeting right quick. The work got to be done. Got to be done. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's the next level, man. There's so much that I didn't know, about the government, our government, you know what I'm saying? It's not their government, it's not the government, it's not an organization, it's a government. You know what I'm saying? And it's a government that's made stronger by those of us who decide to acknowledge it and feed it and say, you know what, we do have an African nation, a new African nation. The United States didn't become the United States when they had 50 states. It didn't become that. It became that when that group of devils decided that they were going to have a United States of America. You know what I'm saying? And they stood on that and bled on that, and built on that. And Haiti became Haiti when the Haitians stood up and said it's going to be a Haiti. It's going to be an Haiti. You know what I'm saying? And defeated the three most powerful militaries in the world on the way to doing that. You know what I'm saying? And they're still in Haiti, even though they've been terrorized since their independence. You know what I'm saying? And brought low, the Haitian people are still a nation, and they still recognize that. You know what I'm saying? And they have a dignity in their situation. Right. You know what I'm saying? That when that time comes, Haiti gonna be theirs again. Right, completely under their control. And so we want to walk in that spirit.
Absolutely. And just to expound, Born, you talking about the warrior mother and queen spirit, like Baba said, the president, vice president, a lot of support from other ministers are fiery warrior women who are about their business. This is no plaything. This is not just for holding title.
Egos ain't flying all over the room.
So, and things can get done. And I'm not taking slight of anybody or in as far as male, but I'm just saying this is the time for the woman to be able to show how we can lead, how it is to lead a nation. And I'm up for the task, and I was honored. They didn't just say Baba Amin with the Uhuru Academy, can you come on and be a minister? Mama, Baba Amin and Mama Nkoyo. And I was like, okay, I get you. Hey, cool.
Absolutely.
So you would think that I met the president of the United States or something. That's how giddy I am, because it's exciting to be able to get the people that we know and the people who listen to us and people who watch and who tune into us to get this knowledge as well. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get, as we learn, they will learn. And, and that's what it's about, is educating. Each one teach one. So I'm excited by bringing in that fresh blood and that fresh energy into the provisional government of Republic of New Africa and see what we can do with it. It's only up. I believe it's going to be great. If we leave, once we leave our posts, we're just going to have made it even a little greater than what it already is.
I say. So that's what the deal is, man. That's what we've been up to.
Right. 2 days, ago was Queen Mother Moore's, solar return. That warrior African. We had some, Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey conversations, and she was the reason.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? She was the reason. So yes. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the Black nationalist movement, period, man, whether it's repatriation, whether it's setting up nation here, the whole Black Power movement has really been led by women since the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And we write them out of the history. You know what I'm saying? But women have been at the forefront of our liberation since liberation was lost.
Right.
And so it ain't nothing wrong with acknowledging that. It's something very wrong with not acknowledging it, with just remembering the men and not how you get there. You can't remember Marcus Mosiah Garvey and don't remember Amy Ashwood and Amy Jacques Garvey and other women who were not married to Marcus Garvey that were just as instrumental. There is no UNIA without Black women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it was women left and right.
Right. So that's the legacy of leadership. It's just now it's time to point that out.
Right.
And be cool in it. Yeah.
And his sister. He wouldn't have made it to Mecca without his sister.
Right.
And in the Nation of Islam without his sister. So I mean, there's no Nation of Islam without Claire Muhammad saying, Elijah, a man came to the door today.
Come on.
You got to really understand that. We work complementary in every sense of the way. And it's only in its optimal space when we're optimally working in that space.
I say.
We got an idea. We got an idea. But that African woman going to cultivate that idea in gestation, mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. She's going to give birth to that idea. We're going to smile in the pictures. We'll smile in the pictures. They're going to be like, hey, boy, you did it. I'll be like, okay. It look good. It look good.
Right. And we hide in the picture just so she can stay. So we smile for the picture so she can stay safe. If the enemy needs somebody to come on after me. You don't need to see the queen. You know what I'm saying? Unless she wants to be seen. So come on after me. Go ahead. And so I mean it's just a powerful thing, Born. It's a powerful thing, and nowadays, because we need to build safe spaces for women, for ourselves, period. But safe spaces for our women should lead in those spaces. Period. And we need to line up as kings to help build, protect those spaces, support those spaces. You know what I'm saying? And do our king thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's time to build some queendoms, man.
Yes.
They give us the throne to rule. because you don't
Right.
want that African woman in a space where she ain't feeling safe and protected. You don't want that aftermath. Like
Right.
Right.
you want
Right.
the
You know,
you want the
and we deal,
aftermath where
yeah.
you can intervene and change some things. You don't want the situation to go down. My mama always told me, she birthed 7 of us
Right.
and 4
Right.
boys
You
and
know,
3 girls. She smiled at me with the greatest and biggest and most eloquent smile she could smile. And she said, if you ever see me in the fight with a bear, help the motherfucking bear.
Come
now.
on.
Help the
Come
bear.
I
on.
understand. So
Help the
I
bear.
understand
Yes.
about ensuring
Right.
Right.
protocols
Right.
is in
Help the
place
bear.
because if my mama look left, you better duck. You
Come
understand what
on.
I'm saying? That's nice
Right.
and it's spiritual and it's healing and it's loving
Yes.
and it's kind and it's soft spoken and
Yes.
eloquent and intelligent as she
Right.
was. She would knock you into yesterday and tomorrow at the same time. You won't know where you
Come
at.
on.
You understand?
That's the way. That's that
So
balance. That's that
yeah,
healthy
that's not
balance.
what you
Yeah.
needed.
I say, and that don't mean the brothers won't still kick somebody's ass. Like that don't take away from our masculinity. It don't take away from who we are. You know what I'm saying? If she's strong, we strong. We strong, she's strong. And you and I both know we have issues with women being safe inside our own movements.
Right.
That's a
Right.
I
fact.
ain't even talking
100%
about
a fact.
mainstream society, just so nobody get confused when I'm talking about building safe spaces. I'm talking about safe spaces inside of our own movement. You know how many sisters that came to me that have been assaulted, insulted, taken advantage of, and harmed inside the movement. And you know how much talent and intelligence capital we've lost because of that.
Right.
You know how many organizations, how many things are not built because men who are not disciplined take the lead simply because they're men.
Right.
But then don't know how to handle themselves without sisters. You know what I'm saying? We so used to bragging about how many girlfriends we have. You know what I'm saying? We don't brag about how many sisters we have. Like if I was to brag, like I got women, born. I got women. They don't got women.
Right.
I got a cadre of sisters.
Right.
And they my sisters.
Right.
That are cold. You know what I'm saying? They beautiful. They strong, but they my sisters.
Right.
Period. And I'm proud of that. They fine too, but guess what? They are born. They my sisters.
Right.
And my job is to help provide safe spaces for them so they can do what's innate for them to do, and that's to take care of the Black nation. Because that's what they do in the projects. That's what they do in the hood. That's what they do in the burbs. Black women take care of the nation.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
Period. God bless the sisterhood.
I'll show you.
That's what that song you open up with is all about. That's what you and me is all about. That's about the complementary. That's about us, what we gonna build together, the legacies that we gonna build together. It's a fight to get there though. It ain't easy. Declaring it ain't enough. You got to make a commitment to doing it. And when we build our institutions, there has to be a respect level and an understanding and a safety that says liberation first.
Yes. Yes.
We lose too much capital in our movements because we can't control our urges or we don't know how to express our feelings. Just throwing that out there.
I see that. I understand. Speak it, brother.
If you want me to be at my absolute worst, my absolute most vicious, disrespect an African woman in my presence.
Come on, man.
That's what look, that's where you got to go.
Right.
The women in my family, they know.
And you build it into
they call me right now. They already know what it is. They don't call me unless I need, because if I'm coming, that's it. I don't care what happened.
Right.
I don't care what she said. She might have slapped you. You're supposed to slap and walk. I don't care what she did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it was, ever since I was a child, about 5-6 years old. My older brother and I had a conversation. We 13 months apart. He said, all we got is us.
Right.
So we forego our childhood. But brothers, we get it later. We ain't too bright at the time. We get it later on. But we forego our childhood and whatever that meant to ensure the sanctity of the family and them sisters in our family. Because we grew up with, 8 aunts and 7 uncles. And the 7 uncles was like, by the time we got an age, it was about 3 of them or 4 of them. And we was always at family functions, and we ain't see the sisters smile. Our aunts, they ain't only smiled around us. They ain't never smiled. So imagine the hell of growing up with 14 siblings and being a woman in it.
Right.
It changes the game. You don't know. So we was not about to let none of that happen in our family. You know, we can help it. So whatever that meant, if we had to fight grown men, we had to fight grown men. So
come on.
All they had to do
that
was
statement got to be made.
Children. You know, they could be children. They could go to school. They could get an education. They could get summer jobs and all that old stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that, whatever that meant, that's all they had to do was walk in. You know? And it was safe for them. You know, so if they did something wrong, they did something wrong. It wasn't for the pressures and all of those other situations that came along with it. And that's what we did. So that was us growing up.
And that's beautiful to like we're saying, they're able to live own their lives. They're knowing that they're safe. They knowing that they don't have to look back and worry about that. And that's the way, that's the balance how it should be as a village. Everybody should be able to function as though they know that they're not worried about who got their back, and they're not worried about who got their side, front, none of that, because you know, we're looking out for one another. We like you said, a respect level and that love and everything is supplied there. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. And that's not just for man and woman on a intimate relationship type of energy, but that's period. That's period, point blank period. That as women, we should feel protected. As men, you should feel respected and protected as well. We all need to have that. And when we and what man, so that's great. And once we are able to be in our natural state of mind and being, not worried about those things, man, how we gonna be able to what we gonna be able to do?
What a great goal. Like what a great goal. Like nothing, like you got to see the destination. That hypes you up to put in the work to get there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that what part of what we want to do and what the Uhuru Academy is all about is building a destination for our people. Building a destination, building multiple possible great destinations and end games for our children. You know what I'm saying? Your consciousness should not be based on what you're not. When you find out I'm not a Christian, I'm not this no more, I'm not American, I'm not. But the cool part is figuring out and knowing that you have the power to determine what you are, where you going, what the day after your liberation look like, what you gonna do, what is the scene gonna look like, what are you gonna build, what are you building, where are we going? And that's what we need to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, you know, and I think that question resonates throughout our community because that's been confused. It's been confused. Are we going for acceptance? They say, oh, we got to give back to the Black community. But wait a minute, move out of the Black community. But wait a minute, they discriminate against the Black community. But wait a minute, don't do business in the Black community. Like we all over the place, right? I won't put a store there, but I'll march for you. Like you know what I'm saying? We are all over the place when it comes to where are we going, what are we doing? This whole pseudo integration agenda, you know, has really destroyed, you know what I'm saying, our focus, you know, and our determination on where we're going to go. Because when all you're seeking is acceptance from a group that hates you, you're just seeking acceptance. You know how much you have to compromise. You got to compromise whatever they tell you to compromise, to give up. You got to give that up. And they still ain't guaranteeing you nothing when you do it. You become a permanent underclass when you do that. And we've lost our collective goals. And these are the questions that we're going to be asking as an organization, as an institution, when we get in front of other leaders, Al Sharpton, whoever, where are we headed? What's the end game? Where are we going? You know, out here they talk about, like Reverend Al love to talk about how you know, you woke folk, your conscious folk, You talking about, you talk, but you ain't doing nothing. We organizing a march. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's cool. You know, that's what you're doing with it. But to what end?
Right. What's the result?
To what end?
Right.
You know, and if the end game is full first-class citizenship inside the United States, how much more sacrifice has to be made?
Right.
How many of us do we have to reject and throw in the trash in order to get there? You know what I'm saying? So how many crimes against humanity do we have to ignore and be a part of in order to be accepted? What's the end game? 60 years since Brown versus Board of Education. What's the report called?
Just 60 years.
Where we headed?
Come on.
These are questions.
Come on.
Right? And if that situation, if that ain't working, what are some other possibilities? Right? And so that's just what it is, man. We got to ask these questions, you know, and we have to be on the forefront. And those of us who wave the red, black, and green, those of us who have pride in being African people and people of African descent, we got to get out here and ask the hard questions. We need political education. I love my brothers and sisters in the militias. We need the militias, but the militias need to be on the forefront of the education. Period.
Right.
Period.
Right.
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 All organizations right now need to establish study groups and education opportunities inside of the Black community yesterday.
I see.
Yesterday.
Small groups. 3, 5, or 7. That's it.
Right.
Nothing greater than that.
Right.
3, 5, or 7.
Right.
Political education, cultural education, spiritual education, right? Science, right? Nature. You know what I'm saying? We need all of that. Healing. We got to get our people off of the pharmacy plantation. You know what I'm saying? So we need that, and we need to establish these schools. We need to establish these independent community schools by any means necessary to help, because you could convince somebody to lead a plantation, but if they don't know how they're gonna eat, they might want freedom. They ain't gonna, but they don't want to be hungry. They ain't gonna go.
Right.
How we gonna eat?
Right.
Where we gonna go? How we gonna heal ourselves? Right. And so you got to get off the titty first. All babies got to get off the breastfeeding before they join Little League.
Right.
You can't go do it by yourself. You're still on the breast. Right. And so you get off the breast through education, not through demonstrations, not through marching. And I'm not disparaging marching, but that's just a small piece of the puzzle.
I think marching marching is a reaction to the outside environment.
Yeah.
When you're learning in education, that deals with you.
Right.
That's an internal thing.
Well, because an educated march is more dangerous.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you march it and they know you really don't know what you're talking about, when they know you really don't understand the system and don't understand how things work, then they can finesse you and guilt you to go right back to the house. They'll tell you, give it to God, and you'll go right home. We get spooky when the conversation gets too complicated.
Right.
That's what we do.
Right.
When they go talk about intricacies and all that, we say, oh, well, you know God is going to take care of everything.
Marching builds up a uniformed sense. Marching is for a collective sense. It starts as individual, but when you're marching from a militaristic perspective, you're marching on an objective. You're there with one mind and one goal, one aim, one objective. This is why you march in ranks. And this is why everybody has to be in step. And this is why everybody has to look the same. You can look at a formation and tell who's out of step.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you get that collective down pat, when you can get brothers and sisters on the same step together, they're marching together, they walking together. Scripture said, how can two walk together except they agree? You see what I'm saying? So you put them and forge them through a situation where they only see each other. Nothing else or nobody else matters. You see what I'm saying? Anything else outside of them is the enemy.
Right.
This is where you march and have people sing. Their heartbeats are the same. Everybody's in that movement together. You see what I'm saying? That's proof of a movement when it mobilizes in a manner in which that's it. So I think we even took the term the militaristic fashion out of the term marching. Now it just comes like demonstration. It was a demonstration, but it was a demonstration for effort. You understand? There was a result. There was an objective, and this is why they show all of these military films where they show our enemies in that way, to where you look at them heroically and you look towards them going towards their objective and risking their life, and it's affecting you.
Right. You know? Yes.
Like they had that war. You had a civil war, and they was fighting over you. You understand what I'm saying? So you see these sacrifices. They was willing to lose their life to keep us in the position that we're in. You see what I'm saying? And for the disposition of who was going to own, operate, and control us. So we looking at the Civil War reenactments and all those things. These are all mind mapping for the next generations to show ownership, dominion, and power. That's what the demonstration is. What else can you show? Weakness, cowardice. You understand? Those things ain't on display. When they show it in a fashion where it looks like it's a united front, even if it ain't.
Right.
They're not going to show you.
And, you know, and it's a trip, because looking at the past few years, you know, when you watch a lot of marches that happen, even if you go back to the or else march that the nation did, you know what I'm saying? And what it did was expose the fact that there was no or else. Right. How many boycotts, how many times recently have black leaders still say, don't go to Walmart, don't go to here, boycott that, boycott this. You can't do it because that group that was attacked after the civil rights and black power movement were the merchants inside the black community who gave you the business alternatives where you could do an effective boycott. But when you walk away from black ownership, and everyone in your community, all the businesses are from outside of your community, and that's in your proximity, you saying, oh, I'm gonna call people to boycott. Black people don't boycott for it because we love a leader.
Right.
You know, we're not gonna do
they
that.
Marched into your neighborhood. We talking about marching. They march right into your neighborhood and claim real estate.
Yes.
I.e., they planted their flag of their nation in your neighborhood. That's war.
Right.
So, you know, there was no Montgomery bus boycott if you didn't have black taxis and black transportation companies to get people to and from work. If you didn't have black-owned businesses where folks could meet up and safely carpool and that sort of thing. See, the enemy understood where the backbone was. The backbone was black entrepreneurship, black land ownership. You break that, you take those heroes and sheroes out of the story, and you just focus on the preacher and the people.
Because when you have that backbone, when you have that or else, it takes away from their economic. So when we're saying I got this, oh no problem, okay, so y'all don't want to give us one more, we're gonna BOB, buy black owned businesses, and this is where we're gonna stay because we don't need to give you our money.
Yeah, and so now
that's the or else.
Yeah, and look at how backwards we're doing it. We're forced to do it because our whole generation was not. We were raised to go work for people. Right. Our generation was primarily raised to go get jobs, and that's what most of us did. So now we're saying, you know what, we're gonna buy black. Where they at? Right. We don't even know where they are. Because our generation wasn't raised to develop the businesses. So now we trying to buy black, but we wasn't trying to build. We wasn't raised to build black. We was told not to start businesses. So now with African Center Education, you have the opportunity. Let's raise a generation that's on ownership. With an ownership mentality. So when they grow up, buying black just mean coming down at your house and going right there to the corner store.
Right. And it won't even be a movement.
It'll be a way of life.
Right. You don't need to buy black. I'm just going to go buy.
I'm going to buy bread. Right. The person who sells the bread is black and lives in the community. So when they make their $350,000 at the store, we ain't got to worry about uniforms for the little league. We ain't got to worry about bus. We ain't got to worry about plane tickets to take the black studies group to Africa. You ain't got to worry about none of that. You sure ain't got to worry about police terrorism. You can get anybody fired that you want to if you got millions of dollars worth of merchants from your community, you know what I'm saying, that got the money to get rid of anybody that need to be got rid of at the local level. Absolutely. Period. We won't have that conversation though.
Period.
That's the narrative. MSNBC don't want to give you that narrative.
No.
They don't want, you know what I'm saying, the so-called liberals, the left, they don't want to give you an ownership narrative. Too many people making money off of black intelligence and black failure, going and coming.
Right.
Right. And the world interfaces with this place for its benefit. That's it.
Right.
That's why they got foreign exchange and all of that.
Come
Everybody
on.
come
Right.
over here with a mission statement. You see what I'm saying? They come over here with a mission statement, and they don't understand our dynamic because we ain't got the same. They do got a mission. They come amongst you. They might listen to your music to see what you like and what you're buying and where you're buying it from.
Right.
And they're reporting that data back.
And
That's
now they
it.
learning how to emulate you so they can get you out, to keep your music and get you out of the picture.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because when I look at K-pop, the Korean kids, and I look like it's just a bunch of yellow new editions. You know what I'm saying? But it's a multi-billion-dollar industry built off of black culture. You know, they want your culture. They don't want you.
Right.
But you should want you. If we saw our own value, right, we wouldn't be, they gonna let us go sing in their place. That means something. That means something when you can sing in your place. Build your place up.
Right.
Tired of these rundown places. Well, let's keep moving. It ain't wrong. You know, Kemet wasn't built in a day.
I'm telling you, we talk about, you know, the effects of COVID and having to quarantine and things of that nature. I was reading somewhere it said, oh my gosh, I'm so I'm not gonna say that. I can't remember at this moment the exact number, the percentage, but it was a high percentage of new black businesses that were developed in the midst of that.
Right.
How wonderful it is and how creative that we are, that we're able to create a business out, and people were eating, people good. That's why people don't want to go back to work. They want to make it like
a job.
Just go back to
job.
To
work every day.
They don't want to go back to those jobs, but and they're wanting to make it like, they're at home. They just want to take the unemployment benefits and things like that. No, they're eating because they're making their own way. They're enjoying
people are
that.
investing in themselves.
Right.
People are investing in themselves and making
people
moves,
are happier.
man.
They're less stressed. You know, they ain't got to work. They don't want to have to clock in for somebody else to make millions of dollars for them and go home with the same amount of paycheck every other week.
Right.
What?
There are moves being made on this internet. There are moves being made. We are discovering fields and opportunities that they didn't tell us about in high school. You know what I'm saying? And so cats, man, and shout out to the morning meetup, man. It's a group that I'm a part of every morning. Nothing but black entrepreneurs in there sharing trade secrets. You know what I'm saying? And talking to each other, networking and building. And there are groups like that have popped up all over. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
All over, man. And so there is a movement. There are movements out here, you know what I'm saying, of black economics and that sort of thing, man. It's just a matter of getting engaged, pushing that narrative, and being a part of that wave, man. You know, and those of us in the Black Power movement, those of us who do red, black, and green, stop complaining, get off our ass, and let's go get it. Let's go be the kings and queens that we know that we are. Garvey had a printing press. He didn't just have a flag. He had a printing press. He had several businesses. The UNIA was a collective of black entrepreneurs and landowners. That's what they were. That's how you get 7 million members.
Come on.
Without YouTube.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Without Facebook. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do it in the midst of while the White House is watching the birth of a nation at the White House. You're building the world's most powerful Pan-Africanist movement. How they do that?
That's African independence right there. And that's how we self-determine every day of the year. Kujichaga baby. You self-determine what it is for you and yours, what's going to work for you. And that's what you go do. We're not expecting it from anyone else. It's coming from us.
Right. So that's just what it is, man. That's what it is. That's the attitude. It's time to build. It's time to put your hands in this earth. make some things happen. Let's go back in community. We're losing young people. When we lose young people, man, we're losing our future.
Right.
You know, we're losing our future. We're losing powerful young warriors out here. You know, and it's been on me because I've been working with youth since 1991, and I feel like they say if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. And I'm being called on to give almost the exact same speeches that I was given in 1994, in 1995.
Right.
I'm being called to deal with situations with young people that I was dealing with 30 years ago, 25 years ago. We're repeating it. Right. It's repeating itself. Right. The return of the black super predator. You know, it's back again.
Right.
It's back again. Right. And the majority of our youth who are not engaged in the foolishness, once again, they're getting caught in the middle.
Right.
Once again, their opportunities are being affected. Their lives are being affected. I'm getting called by good young people saying, I'm like, man, what you been up to, youngster? Shoot, man, I'm in the house trying to stay out the way. I can't even come off the porch. Can't even go live with threats from not just society, but from their own peers. Right. So we don't run from that. We have to run to that and say, no, man, let's put this in front of you, because most of y'all don't want to be out here.
Right.
Most of y'all don't want to be out here. Let's change this narrative. Let's invest. Everybody ain't gonna be no rapper. But let me show you how much money you can make welding. Let me show you how much money you can make with heat and air conditioning, HVAC. Let me show you what the transportation business is looking like right now. Let me show you what drop shipping is looking like right now. Let me show you all these other hustles and grinds that are out here right now that you can get into. So if you still choose to go do that foolishness, we know that then you was just foolish.
It was your choice.
Yeah, you know, it ain't because you didn't have a minute, right? It should be a house or property in every hood that got the red, black, and green flag swinging out of it. They're going to treat it the same way we treat church. Right. It's going to get the same type of respect.
And they know that that's a place of safety.
They know it. That's a place of learning, safety. That's where the youth can go. That's where you can go and get on the computer. If you need to get on the computer,
get your meal.
Get you a meal. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the garden rocking over there. You grab your vegetables, that sort of thing. And that's what that house is.
That house is. One. It don't take much. It don't take much.
That's what that house is. And if we don't have it, don't get mad that you don't have it. Start building it. Yeah. Start working on it now, recruiting people. Would you like to see a safe space in this community that's all about our culture?
Right.
Man, let's make that happen. Man, somebody got the foreclosure list? I know we can get that house right there probably for 10 racks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Income tax comes shit. My Quisha say she got watch what the sisters do. Right? Right, income tax come. I'm talking those who just ain't got it. Right, the income tax come. We looking up and she got 6. She's sitting on 7. Right, sitting on 3, 4. He done filed on his bid. He slick like me, slick and hood like me. He got about 3,800, 4,500 too. You know what I'm saying? And we out 10 of us come and put 2 racks together. Got 20 racks. That's the house.
Right.
And if we can't do that, we're not serious about it. No. And that's okay. We're not using our resources wisely. And that's okay, because you may be going through the stage of consciousness where you're just really building up your self-esteem and trying to heal from trauma. And that's okay. And what I've learned over the years is that's a real phase. That's a real stage where when we embrace knowledge of self, everybody ain't ready to come out and do something concrete. Right now, I'm embracing knowledge of self so I can find myself. Right. I'm embracing knowledge of self so I can heal from generational trauma. Yes. I'm embracing knowledge of self so I can develop some discipline for self. I ain't ready to organize. It might take a year. Right. It might take 5 years for some. It might take 10 years for some. Right? But what we have to do is be real about that and work with those who are ready to do it. You know, I try to recruit people who already buy houses. They just don't know they're Africans yet. Right. Let me just put in the African part. You're already in the habit of buying houses. Let's keep that rolling. Right. Let's keep that rolling. Right. Anyway, y'all know
the houses in the general contracting, because that's the
right. You know,
right
there. Talk to the general contractor.
Man, it's men out there in the hood that are masters at it. They may not be even, but they may not be working the work, but they're masters at. You always see them out there working on their house and stuff. Get them over there. They would love to do that. You know what I'm saying? They'll love to teach the young ones how to do it, so they won't have to do it all the time.
So we have to get out here and engage.
Engage.
Right.
That's
Engage.
Right.
That's the only time you outsource. If you don't have a skill in your community that you need, that's going to benefit your community. You go out there and you out there on a mission. You know, I was on the college campus, and young sister was there. Yeah, I had got into it with one of the instructors. They was telling some crazy stuff to the class, like world exploration ain't begin until they got their nasty ass on some boat somewhere. I was like, that's not quite true. You understand what I'm saying? And I only did it because there were a couple sisters in the class. A couple brothers sisters in the class. When they talking to their own, they need to talk to their own like that. You understand?
Right.
And they looked at me.
I was formula.
Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Yeah. So I was like, I got a couple of books I could bring in. I reported a couple of books. She's like, oh, we know we have a class link. I put 300 books in there. You understand what I'm saying? And then I talked to the young sister. They was like, we didn't know what y'all was gonna do. We was talking about you and blah blah blah. I said, look around this campus. I said, everybody here for their family. They on a mission.
Right.
I said, the ones who came before you saw fit that you got your education. I said, what you gonna do on this campus?
Right.
She said, I'm here to be a lobbyist. I said, black women, who you gonna lobby for? I said, think about how many black folks need a lobbyist.
Yes.
I said, everybody else here on assignment.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like it ain't take a whole 2 hours or nothing. It took a few seconds.
Right.
Every time now she's there, she know who she's there for.
Come on.
You put somebody out there on assignment on a mission, you gotta remember what they're out there for. You see what I'm saying? You can go get a job.
Right.
But you there with a plan. We done set you with a plan. Like, hey, you're here to learn these skills so you can teach these
and bring it back. That's
we're gonna teach the next generation. We're gonna empower you. We're gonna pay you. You out there for a little bit to get that experience. You're gonna bring that experience.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's guerrilla warfare for the ones who out here that be raising their fists and be talking. Like, everybody need to know everything. So if you got 4 children, you know what you need for your future. Why aren't you preparing them for their future, their contribution to their family?
I say.
You see what I'm saying? So that's a whole nation in your family. We be talking about nation building and skip over our children and send our children ready to cart them off somewhere.
Right.
Where your carpenter, where your electricians, where your plumber, where your doctor, where your lawyer, all those things you're gonna need. It's supposed to be in your family. So this is how you look at the rest of the people in the family. They decided who in their family was going to be criminals and who was going to get them off with the charges.
Right.
They decided that. And so who was going to be the judges, who was going to be the police, all that. They got assignments. It wasn't just like, well, when I grow up, I want to. We ain't doing none of that. You understand what I'm saying? That's not how nations function because you're not benefiting the nation.
Right. That's right.
So you don't have that black print, like you were saying, Queen Mother, like laid out. We got cultural, things in place to help you stretch your mind and your way in the way that it needs to go. So you know who that is. You know what ancestor that is. You know what their life mission is. Okay, how are we going to translate that in the physical world into something that's going to be a benefit to our family and to our collective family, that new African nation?
Okay.
I was saying that's thy nation. Because when you get there, that's that nation you're going to be with. When you get to your goal, your aim, your objective, those things that you got a burning desire about, when you get there, that's who's going to be benefiting from it for time to come. And that's how you live forever. That's why somebody going to remember your name. You see what I'm saying? If we get to that stoplight, we be like, Gary A. Morgan. We with that gas mask, we be like, Gary A. Morgan. So Gary Morgan going to live forever because every time we stop at that stoplight, it's smoky out there. We need that gas mask. We understand.
Right.
So what are those things? What are those skills? Who are those people? What positions can we put them in to where when we mention a name, it's mentioned with the reverence and the honor that they do for the contributions that they made?
I say.
So it's about legacy. It's about
legacy. I wanted to ask y'all
what's up
about the youth, and I wanted to ask y'all about, Because I missed the Baba and Mama chop up session. You know, y'all be talking about everything that's going on. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So when y'all ain't scheduled, when y'all ain't meeting and teaching and meeting,
I know.
we get back in the swing of that.
We
Like this
missed
whole
it too.
Simone Biles situation. I know y'all done talked about it, contemplated. You know the whole Simone Biles. You know, and the mental health. You know, issues and stigmatisms that's associated with Black life in America.
Right.
Y'all the only folks I listen to because y'all teach young people every day. All these other scholastic, trashic scholastics, they going where they going. You see what I'm saying?
So. You want to tackle that, Simone? What you think about what's going on with Simone?
Honestly, I love it. That's revolutionary in itself. Her taking a stance and standing firm that I'm going to. It's about me and my mental health right now. It's not about what you want, US of A. It's not about the gold, the medals, and all that. It's not about the media that you want to. It's not about all that. It's about me and my well-being, especially after you beat me up so badly because I'm just good as hell at what I do, and you're gonna be and there's no telling the fact of what, like, you know, Bob and I was talking about, there's no telling what they're getting her, the Naomi Okasawa, how you say Akasawa?
Scholar Naomi.
So why you don't like just trying to help me? You know what I mean?
I love helping you. I might not know how to pronounce it neither.
It's gonna stay
we can both save face if you just call it Naomi.
Okay, well, whatever. I just like you know
you just so determined to get the word.
I am very direct. I want
get the point.
But anyway, so back to what I was saying. They're getting our youth are already inundated with so much BS and so much trauma that is being heaped on them. Not to mention now I'm Simone Biles, I'm Naomi, I'm these sisters that are in a dominated a place, white dominated, male that they don't want you there anyway. And you're great, and they're great, and you're great. So the mental health is very important. I'm thankful that she stood up for herself and for all those who came before her, because they weren't able to do that. They didn't have that protection, that sense of protection. You know what I'm saying? That I can do this and be okay. She knows she got people backing her and that got her, and so she can do that and be okay. So that's my stance on it. Is from the point that she did it. It's very important because Black people, like I said, youth especially, I mean, Black people especially, but the youth here right now, we carry so much and we're expected to put on that face like it's all good, and we're expected to take it
from the uttermost to the guttermost.
Yes. And don't say
from
nothing.
Don't do.
And so the fact she said, no, I'm good. Naomi before that, no, I'm good. I'm just I'm bowing out. This is about me. I'm not doing that. And so, yeah.
I think that when the hypocrisy of the institutions that they represent get exposed, right, it becomes harder and harder to put your face on that institution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and
right,
when you
right.
look at Simone Biles, yeah, she's only 24 years old. Mm-hmm. She's already won 27 gold medals. Yeah. You know, more than anybody. Yeah. And she had to sew her own goat on her outfit. Like she had to say she's the GOAT, because they really won't unless somebody else bring it up. You know, how many write-ups, how many endorsements, you know what I'm saying? So not only that lack of validation on that end, you know, she may be bored. And I think this last run was more so her helping the next generation of gymnasts, not really about her. And I think once they got to Tokyo, I think that she just said, I think she asked herself why and couldn't come up with a good answer, and just said, I'm not here. I'm not focused on this. Maybe she looked at the red, white, and blue and say, you don't deserve me. Right. You don't deserve the sacrifice. I might hurt myself on this vault. Do I want to hurt myself on this vault for the United States? I invented several moves that ain't never been done before. You got to call them a Biles move, right? And then I'm doing a move that only a man has done before. I'm doing it in female competition, you know, and y'all downplaying it. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and I got this added pressure. Don't be political. You can't say nothing. Can't make no statements about black people when you get over to Tokyo and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you took the joy. Why? What's the point?
Right. You taking my platform.
Yeah, what's the point? So I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna cheer for these young girls and do that. And I think she wants to go home and just teach the skill to the next generation. You know what I'm saying?
I think she's showing her ass. Now what you gonna do? You ain't got me. I have the power to do and when I want and how I want. So now what? Now you don't want to acknowledge me, and you don't want to, and you want to try to control what I do and how I do it. And I'm not here. I'm not going to be here.
I think it's a generation that sees other opportunities. Like she's like, I don't need this. You know, she don't need it. You know, Naomi, Osaka. You know what I'm saying? You know, but she's not the greatest tennis player in the world. She's the most famous right now because of the stance that she took. I'm just saying she's not the best yet. She's on her way. You know what I'm saying? You know, and again, dealing with the media and all that and all those racist eyes.
But I'm just looking at how the vitriol and the hatred and just the pressure that's been placed on. It's been the sisters. It's been the sisters. Sha'Carri, how they just quit. I mean, look, they just had to come in and just tear it down. We building it up. We happy. We did it. And they you can, you know, we're the balance because I think it's all bullshit. And I'm happy that they all.
Well, I think it's all bullshit too. I like to break it down though. I think I see the BS too. I just like to break it down. You know that okay, baby. I'm saying you're breaking it down. I didn't say you didn't break it down. I'm saying I like to go in beneath the surface even more. You know, I don't think it's just about, you know, well, we got to tear her down, you know, because collectively they've torn down the image of black people and black men and black women. That's an ongoing struggle. That's an ongoing. Just about the
her. It was the Sha'Carri, it's the Naomi, it's the Simone, it's the other young sister that Simone is mentor that's there with her. That's
I know. I just think it's more about the power inside of these sisters than about the racism inside of these crackers.
All right then.
Sha'Carri, she smoked some herb.
That's how you work it.
That's what I see.
You see the good.
I'm seeing the good in the black people. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Right? So Sha'Carri Richardson, she smoked some herbs, right? She failed the drug test and she shrugged that shit off. In the past, and FloJo did that in the 80s, you know what a huge scandal that would have been, and the tearful apology she would have been forced to give and all of that. Sha'Carri say, I'm human. What you gonna do? I'm human. Simone Biles, when she stepped to the podium after the thing and was like, you know, she was laughing and she was kind of crying too, but she was just kind of like, you know, yeah, nothing wrong with me physically. You know how easy it is to say I tweaked my hamstring. It's so easy to fake an injury and say. I'm sure she had people around saying, just say this is wrong. Say it's your back. Ain't nothing wrong with me physically. Mentally, I'm not here. And if you're not here, you can hurt yourself. Next. And she didn't go home, you know. She didn't hide her face. She put her warm-ups on and was out there. She withdrew from the individual competition, but guess what? She still went out there and rooted on everybody else like, and in y'all face. I'm just saying they're showing a boldness that past athletes have not shown.
Because they didn't have they didn't have the opportunity. It wasn't as welcomed. It wasn't as acceptable by not saying that they're being allowed to, but they are taking that opportunity.
That's what I'm saying. They're taking it. Yeah. They're saying consequences be damned, right? Because you live at, you know, because of technology, because of everybody being a media outlet. You know what I'm saying? They've created this generation. They're creating a space where they can do them.
Right.
You know, and so that's just one of my observations right there. Because, you know, when Michael Phelps, even the white boy, was buckled more, you know, and in the aftermath, he was tearful and under the pressure and Simone looks unbothered. Sha'Carri Richardson looks unbothered.
I think
Naomi looks unbothered. I
think it's an unbothered, like I'm fed up. So I'm fed up. I'm fed up. I'm tired. you know, we're seeing all these things, and like, yeah, the crying and the boo-hooing, that's not gonna get me nowhere. So this is just what it is. So, you know, so I'm fed up. I'm fed up with trying to appease you and try to cow down to you and try to what? Okay.
Yeah, like we got options.
Right.
We got options.
Right.
You know.
And that's the strength, and that's what we want to take with everyone. I hope that all the youth that we take that righteous indignation and we run with it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that we can take a cue from the young people and we can make that kind of stance as a people. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So parents, walk into your elementary school, pull your baby out and say, I'm worried about his mental health.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about her mental health.
Right.
They're not learning anything about themselves.
Right.
They're coming home with a prison mentality.
Right.
They're coming home depressed. He used to be smiling and happy all the time.
Right.
Now he don't even talk no more.
Right.
He used to love to come to school. Now he hate to get up and go to school.
Right.
She used to be so proud and smile, talking about being a doctor. Now she on some old other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's her mental health. We finna figure something else out.
Right.
That's what I see. That's the attitude that I would hope would carry on and trickle down. Like, you know what if we stood up for our children like that?
Right.
What if we stood up for our babies the way Simone Biles and Naomi are standing up for themselves? Because our babies are being harmed mentally. They're being thrust into depression.
Right.
They're being thrust into stressful situations and that sort of thing inside of systems and institutions built. You know what I'm saying? You got little boy athletes in the 8th grade that's playing basketball, that's good, that's depressed. Won't nobody listen to him when he say he loves biology more than he loves basketball. And now you gonna go pro. We all dependent on you. You know what I'm saying? What about his mental health? You know what I'm saying? And so when I see them, that's who I root for, and that's what that's the perspective that I get from it. You know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because we are harming we're putting our children in harm's way mentally. You know what I'm saying? It's become a tradition because we want to hit the sports lottery. We want to hit these lotteries, the rap lottery, the music business lottery. Right. We want to send our children into these fields that only a few can make it. You know, 3 million black boys play varsity high school basketball at any given time. All of them think that most of them want to go to the NBA. Ain't but 30 teams and 15 jobs per team. That's 3 million people wishing for 450 jobs. Right. Somebody ain't gonna make it. Right? And how many don't make it and end up on the corner depressed talking about the old days? That's mental health.
Right.
Remember they had that 30 for 30 on Randy Moss? And it was talking about his neighborhood and all the athletes that came out of there. And most of them are back. A lot of them homeless, alcoholics, got a low paying job. They own the corner and they've never recovered from not making it all the way. You know what I'm saying? That's mental health. Absolutely. That's mental health.
Absolutely. And we have the support system tell them it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Let's go do this. Let's give you some alternatives.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, that maybe present itself a little bit more now. Right. I'm saying they have support.
Right. So the example that they setting is something that, that's a lesson that we should be teaching. That what, man, you are great at that sport, but you're not great at that sport because of the sport. You're great at that sport because of your work ethic, your determination. You got good genes. You show up on time, and these are the transferable skills that if you shine here, you can also shine over there. You can also shine over there. You know what I'm saying? And we need to do more of that than just saying basketball defines you, because and Simone Biles is showing that even being the greatest gymnast of all time, gymnastics does not define her.
Nope. Right.
If I just get her to put a red, black, and green jumpsuit on, we'd be ready.
Right there in spring.
So right there in spring. We just left the neighborhood. We just left her neighborhood. I had out of know. We just took our baby right up to that gym.
Yes, because we got our own one in the making.
Right. So we got a young gymnast in our house, And one of my things, getting our babies into sports, we make sure they know this sport doesn't define you, but you're here to develop your character. You're here to develop your team, being a teammate, working on a team, your organizational skill. That's what you're here to develop. Now, some opportunities come from, we're gonna take advantage of them, but they're not gonna define you. You know what I'm saying? I will get my Richard Williams on. One of them look like they can hit like some rings.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the case with Richard Sherman and so many others, like
Right.
how many people have been hiding, you know,
Yes.
their scars and they,
Yes.
you know, all being, you know, used and abused and, you know,
Yes.
brought up as that's normalcy. Suffrage is normalcy amongst our people. Like we've grown accustomed to it, you know, it's almost an addictive type of quality that we're looking for that. You know, like you ever been somewhere and ain't no drama? It's like ain't no drama, ain't nothing.
Right. Right.
That's how RBG Family Weekend was every year. We gotta look at the biggest shock, and there wasn't no fights.
Right.
Ain't nobody fighting.
So,
yeah.
That kind of mind frame to see, you know, beyond the trauma. Trauma exists. You have to heal from it. You have to grow through it. You have to go through it in order to elevate. And on the other side of that elevation, there's a testimony. What are you going to do with that? Like, who's going to glean from that experience? You know, I committed recently to this, you know, 100 days of motivation. And, you know, with this 100 days of motivation, it's there. Like, so, okay, it might be a few moments out of the day, but you're going to get some positivity from here. You see what I'm saying? Get some positivity from here. You're going to get something, somebody rooting for you, somebody loving on you, somebody pushing you, somebody motivating you. It's okay for you. You see what I'm saying? It's okay for you. On the other side of that pain is a reward. What is your reward going to be? You know what I mean? You know, Dr. Ed Thomas says your gifts will make room for you. You know? So which gift are you going to utilize for your reward?
Right.
You know, your voice, your passion, your compassion, your patience, all of these things. These sound like there's intangibles, but you're in a space with people who don't have no patience.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? How many people do you meet on a daily basis? You say, well, you know, I ain't the most patient person. Somebody need to be able to tell you and teach you self-regulation. That look like you, that love on you, that want to see you win, that develop this patience from being a person who ain't have no patience, because that's where the patience come to. You get humble. You know that in a situation like that. So you sharing those stories, and it's indiscriminate to age. It's indiscriminate age. You know, every year I used to coach youth basketball, and I always gave that analogy. If I can't make a team in the first practice, we don't. The first practice, I'm looking for the team. I asked a couple of questions. All right, raise your hand if you played basketball before. All right, raise your hand if you played basketball on a team before. All right, raise your hand if you played basketball organized before. All right, what positions did you play? Their parents are listening. You understand? And then now I have to remove all of that and remind them that they're playing on this team. For each other. Right now. And here, these are the rules. No walking. Don't touch that basketball. You understand? So now I need to know that you know everybody on your team. This is in 5 to 10 minutes. Everybody introduce yourself. All right, what's her name? Everybody run. Let's go. If I don't hear after everybody start running a couple of times, hey, everybody say your name out loud. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? If I don't hear them start to self-correct, I didn't do my job. You see what I'm saying? Hey, don't walk. Hey, don't go get no water. Hey, put that down. I don't hear that. And then I hear who's saying it. So now I'm looking for the leaders who are going to inspire the team and the leaders who are going to motivate the team, because I can't play the ball for them. My job is to keep their mind in the game. Keep their head in the game. Focus, listen to them, see what's going on, what's happening.
So what if the context built around our sports, but our children, who are the greatest athletes and biggest institutional cash cows athletically in the world? What if the context around their team building was you're part of a greater team? This team is a microcosm of your family, which is your in the microcosm of your community, and we're putting systems in place, pipelines in place to, as you earn with this talent, it's actually feeding the community that you come from.
That's right.
If the university don't have a learning center, an adult education center, something empowering, a business incubator inside our community, ain't nobody taking a scholarship to that school.
Right. Right.
We could build schools off of Black youth athletics. Schools are built
introduced them to our games. We have yet to engage the African mind with the African mind. You see what I'm saying? Right. We have our own games. Like we got these games that we do well, okay, they mean anything, but what about our games? Why can't we go back in antiquity and look in our culture and start introducing our game? Because those engage our mind in a certain kind of way.
Right. You know, so talking about mental health, right?
Right.
What about that? What about the survivor's guilt? What about that abandonment syndrome that you have when you that one that's gonna make it out, but you look at everybody else can't go? And ain't nothing wrong with your homeboy, he just can't dunk.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with him. Yeah. He can't dunk, and he ain't been fed a menu of any of other options. And now that he's getting a menu, he's 18 years old, finding about things that people on the other side of town been preparing for since they was 10.
Right.
Since they was 8. So you 8 years in the hole trying to figure out what you finna do with yourself. You know. And you're moving on with a guilt trip that often leads you to rebel against the people that you're leaving behind.
Right.
Because that's a defense mechanism. I got, y'all just trying to hold me back. See what happened when niggas get jealous and
we used to insulate that. We used to insulate that. If you was going somewhere, you couldn't be around.
Right.
No. That's the doctor. That's the lawyer. That's the whoever. That's the whatever. It wasn't just athlete. If you had potential, they seen that potential to see, get your ass from around here. Go. Don't ever come around.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't ever come around. You're gonna be something. You see what I'm saying? So that was the staple that was insulating the entire situation. Like, you knew the penalty. If somebody seen you hanging out, like, nah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, no, now these are things that are put in movies. They put them in movies now because they no longer exist in real life.
Yeah.
So they show them in movies now. But this was just regular life.
Like
what I said earlier about protecting, the women in my family, that was regular life.
Right.
You understand? Like, they put it in the movie in the wood. Oh, Stacy, her brother, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was Stacy. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You had to see me. You had to see me about my little sister. It was like that. So from a space to where that started to imitate life. The art started to imitate life, and now the life is trying to imitate the art. They're looking at the art like that's something. Like, no, that was just regular. You see what I'm saying? That was just regular. We were Sharif in the hood. Baba Sharif. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we know Sharif in the hood. I was Sharif in the hood. We know that. So this is how we were able to identify with those characters.
Right
here. You know what I'm saying? So that was just us. That was natural. Like, he come kicking knowledge. Where you think knowledge came from? Somewhere kicking knowledge all the time. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it was either you met the warlord or you met the Imhotep. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
So you met the warlord, you wouldn't be able to tell nobody you met the warlord.
Right.
You met the Imhotep.
And it was a trip because we all had our space. We had our space. We had our role. We had our levels of respect. We didn't agree on everything. You know what I'm saying? But we had our levels of respect. It was OGs that would send youngsters my way. This one, it ain't in him. It ain't in him, Steve. He need to be rocking with y'all. He need to be coming over to the rites of passage and that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Those boundaries may still exist. You know what I'm saying? But things have gotten so, like, with the social media thing, right? And with youngsters being able to get on and feed their egos and exacerbate beefs. Man, by the time you get there to try to calm it down, they done had 2,000 arguments in 48 hours.
Right.
They done made eight death threats in 6 hours. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's an amazing dynamic nowadays with everything that's going on. I've been in Fort Worth and Chicago and cities across the country. You got young artists, that are getting caught up in what they call op music and op culture. You know what I'm saying? And they're actually trying to generate views. The goal is to generate views and likes for your music. But the formula is you need an op. The formula is you need somebody to go at, because that's the only thing people want to look at.
Right.
Just like a lot of young sisters think the formula is to twerk and shake my ass, because that's the only thing that people want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like when I got into hip hop, I wanted to spit content, man. You need to spit that gangster shit, because that's the only thing people want to listen to. And that's all false.
Right.
That's all false. So you got people who would otherwise be talking about something else, getting caught up in stuff that they ain't ready for. You know, and everybody ain't gonna turn over and tell it like 6ix9ine. Like, gosh, these young cats, I know something about them coming on off the porch, but they didn't want to come off the porch. Right. They wanted to do poetry. Right. That's all they wanted to do, you know. But again, that's mental health.
Right.
That's still mental health. It's still stemming from a mental health issue.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching all these TV shows make a comeback to, you know, they on Netflix or Hulu and all that. I saw all these black shows coming back. I was like, why they didn't bring rock back?
Oh man, that was good.
You can only watch rock on YouTube. You know,
right?
It ain't on no streaming platform.
Yeah,
rock was a serious show, and it's one scene. If y'all remember that scene where Clifton Powell went to see the young brother after he shot somebody and he was in prison. So he went in there and he talked to him. He's like, yeah, you know, they told me I got to do 10 years or 15 years, whatever the number was. You know, I do that, and you know, that's, you know, that ain't nothing. I'm gonna be just like you.
Yeah.
And he shut that whole thing down, and he told him how he was going to go into protective custody. And he was going to write a letter a month to the judge and a letter a month to the family. You're going to get your GD. This is what you're going to do. This is the only way you're going to survive up in it.
Come on.
And that dynamic right there with, you know, capitalizing off criminality and indifference and that exploitation, I'm like, oh, they can't have this out here. You see what I'm saying? They can't have this out here. Oh, this was a space of conflict resolution. Like, oh,
right.
Rock snatched up the D-boy on the block and choked him up in the house. You understand? Like, whoa. So with all of these things, with conversations around toxic masculinity and all this other stuff, I'm like, this doesn't fit the narrative of the now. Most of these other ones were safe. You know, they played it safe. You know, the sister that was the mother on Moesha, I believe, she just passed recently. You know.
Yeah. Oh, no, Shirley Ralph?
Right. No.
Not Shirley Ralph. It's from Brandy show, Moesha.
That's what he said, Moesha.
Oh, maybe I'm mixing the shows up. It was one of the shows she played the mother. Was she on Parenthood or something like that? I think she was.
Yeah, the one on Parenthood, Robert Townsend.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't want to say Shirley Ralph now, you know.
Yeah.
Certain freshmen, they go for the grade.
Beautiful sister.
You understand?
Yeah, beautiful sister.
but you know that show dynamic right there, and you know
Suzanne Douglas.
Yeah, Suzanne Douglas.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, rest in power.
My ancestor. Yeah, she was one. You know, I seen her face. You know, she was one that ain't played no games. So it's just certain stuff that's there where I'm looking at like, okay, this is why this can't come out there, because you know, Eleanor was that lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Eleanor was that lady.
Yes.
100% that lady.
But you know what? I want to give a shout out to outlets like Quayle.tv. You know what I'm saying? Great outlet, man, where you can find a lot of short films, independent films made by Black people, you know, that ain't breaking through the Netflix and that sort of thing, you know. And we got those platforms, man. Those writers, those creators are out there, man. These young people are writing these stories. They're not getting on to the outlets that we're hooked on. You know what I'm saying? But they're definitely writing these stories. You know, there could be another rock, and probably 10 more rocks out there. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they're not getting hooked into the media, the mainstream media that we feed, that we're feeding into. You know what I'm saying? But now today is the day of independent media.
Right.
You know, this is the time of independent media. Period. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to make a more concerted effort as a community to get out here and check out these Black platforms and other platforms that are exposed. We have professional actors and actresses that are doing stuff on the side. But as far as getting it to our eyes and ears, that's a challenge.
Right.
That's a challenge for them. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that's why we got to make sure we're out here and we spreading the word, because that work is being done. And it was being done back then. It was rocks before rocks. It was so many concepts that don't make TV. You know, I mean, go back to the 70s. Why they kill off the daddy on Good Times? He was too strong.
Right.
Let's play up the buffoon with JJ. Let's play that character up and let's tone James Evans Sr. down. Let's take him out the house. He ain't supposed to be in there anyway in the project. Let's take him out the house. Right. And so that same pattern is still there. The difference though now is we have a greater capacity to create for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at the Nigerians, what they're doing with their movie industry and that sort of thing, right? So we have a greater capacity to create for ourselves. We need a more of an Oscar Michaud mentality today. You know what I'm saying? More than ever before. If we get out of this damn inclusion mindset and get more into an Oscar Michaud type mentality, you'll have greater access to what, you know what I'm saying? You know, but Kevin Hart, it ain't safe for Kevin Hart to get the millions over here and then parlay it over here, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't no secrets no more. Step and Fetch It was able to step and fetch it, but he also wrote very intellectual columns and was a big investor in Black-owned businesses on the side. But that was during a time where people couldn't take your picture. You know, you can be Step and Fetch It over here, then come over here and be as clairvoyant and as intelligent as you want to be.
Well, I think again, going back to how the youth are able to stand up and stand firm, it is transcending a little bit. We just watched the documentary on Baba Dick Gregory that Kevin Hart executive producer. So their ease and they are being able is more
today's
acceptable.
Climate is creating that. And the youth are creating that climate, you know what I'm saying, to make it safer to push the envelope a little bit further over here. You know what I'm saying? Because that Dick Gregory documentary was great.
It was.
The Dick Gregory documentary was excellent. Just the and rest in power to Dick Gregory.
Oh my, I had no idea.
Exceptional human being, man. Brother walked from California to New York. You know, he ran from California to New York, you know, and he foresaw the future. He called the obesity, the diabetes, he called that in the early 70s.
Yes, he did.
He said this was coming.
Yes, he did.
And it's here.
It's here.
He said the obesity, he said the diabetes was going to be killing Black folks in the future. He said it.
Right.
And it's here.
Right.
And it's here.
Right.
Yeah. He said it and it's here. So, you know.
10 children, you know. That's what happened when you had 10 children. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta be creative. You gotta be real creative. You can't
he said Black folks want power, just keep having babies.
That's it. That's what he did.
Just keep having babies. Yeah, your sheer numbers gonna get them because they can't out reproduce you. They can't out reproduce you.
And that was the thing, you know, we're talking about standing, using your platform and standing. He used it to no end. His money, I didn't realize how wealthy the brother was, how wealthy
early in the game,
wealthy. And he denied that. He was like, I'm okay with that. You can, whatever. I'm gonna take my millions, I'm gonna put it over here, first of all. And then when y'all start denying me my gigs because of my stance in the civil rights movement, then I'm gonna be okay. That's gonna be all right, because I'm gonna still do what I do. Because
got rich again.
And got rich again. For health, wellness.
For health and wellness, right? And reinvested that back.
And so Black people had to do it. He made other people wealthy off of that.
Right. Yes, he did.
Yes. So I love that. So we saying that it only takes that one person who is not afraid to stand up and stand out and stand for your people. It's bigger than you. Know that it's bigger than you, and to stand up. And that's what we had. We have more. We're getting more of that now. We haven't had it in. It's been a big gap. We haven't
because
had
the sellouts won.
Right, but we're getting it back.
Sellouts won the microphone.
Right.
You know, and I can't imagine the sense of betrayal that Baba Gregory must have had at the end, like of the civil rights movement, and all those folks who stood around King after King was assassinated, all those folks that joined the government, all those folks that you know what I'm saying. I can't even, cause here's a man who was financing a movement.
Yes,
he was a big financier of the movement, and they turned it back on the black financiers and hugged that white dollar. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I can just imagine how he felt then when he started his health and wellness movement. How much support was he getting from them? You know, that they have his back. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, they got the microphone and redefined Dr. King. Yeah, they erased the last 5 years of Dr. King's life from the record till the 2000s. You wasn't listening to what King was saying about the Vietnam War until the current documentaries started coming out. You know what I'm saying? And I can just imagine his frustration over the years, you know. And of course, he let everybody know during them final years. That Gregory didn't give a damn.
He was getting whatever was on his mind. Plus more.
Make it needs to kill your mama. Make you kill your mama.
Right.
You know. So yeah, man. So we need that dynamic. We need that. I mean, Dick Gregory was a rich black man in Chicago, who went down to march in Mississippi before the cameras. Like, he brought cameras. He brought cameras. It was before, like most of the celebrities went after the first march, and they knew the news was gonna be there. And Dick Gregory was down there marching the first march. You know, he was down there like what? It didn't have to be. You know, and that's an investment. You know, and we need more investment in our communities now, investment in our youth now. You know, when I was rolling with Jay Prince in Fifth Ward, and he was showing me the properties and things that he has, you know, on Fifth Ward, and we was talking about solutions to the community. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, we need to put business incubators here. We need to be safe spaces. We need safe spaces over here where young people with ideas can go and cultivate their ideas. You know what I'm saying? Reinvestment. You know, and to his credit, that's what he's doing. You know, but when you lay the food out there, you gotta have people who want to eat it. Right.
Or know what it is.
Or know what it is. How to receive it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to educate the people. He said, you got the right to do this. You can give me all the rights you want to. If I don't know what to do with it, I'm going to end up in the same situation. And that's something that we're going through collectively right now. You can vote, but most of us don't know what that vote means. We're not engaged in the process. We don't understand. We don't understand lobbying. We don't understand the campaign finance. When we don't go vote when the bids come up for this and that. You know what I'm saying? So the intricacies, you leave that out and just say, don't worry about that. That's too complicated for you. Just go vote for the white man who looked like he liked black people. And you good to go. Whoever got hot sauce
moves that Dick Gregory was able to make was because of Lillian, you know, his queen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She shined in that documentary.
Who was toe to toe with a lot of things that went on it and ain't never been in front of the camera to tell nobody.
I remember when we got
document that we got some information from because she had to carry him. You know, because they weren't looking for her.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
And that African warrior woman who raised them 10 children, so he could be able to do what he needed to do. And she's still around.
And ran his business.
And ran his business.
Because we had the opportunity to interview Baba Gregory a few years ago. You had to go through Lillian first. Period. Still. So yeah, man.
The importance of the balance in the black woman.
Come on, that complimentary. Come on, man. That's a Lillian and Greg and Dick are prime examples of a powerful black complementary, you know what I'm saying, a black marriage.
And there was no denying. He never tried to deny her power, her intelligence, you know, and he always made sure that she was able to do what it is that she wanted to do, that, you know, out there as well. Not only she was, you know, she was at home taking care of the babies, but she was still able to go. She was out there doing, you know, doing her thing, back and forth at university, you know, whatever. So I love that, and that's definitely important, you know, and that's that balance. So, you know, it all back to the woman, I guess. Like you saying, Queen Mother's rule. I love it. I love it.
So we got a few minutes left, and I want to ask y'all about African Independence Day. What can new Africans expect from the royal family coming in here to do y'all business? You understand what I'm saying?
But you're like, what, as far as our work is concerned?
As far as, you know, African Independence Day on, you know, Jonathan Jackson's Transition Day, August the 7th, right here through the Announce Radio Virtual. Be here from 1 to 5. You know, what can the family expect from y'all? Or y'all keeping that hush hush?
No, man. We're gonna come through.
We're gonna come through.
We're gonna come through, man. And do what we do. I don't know yet. I don't know.
We might have a video ready for
might
it.
have a video, so we might put a little something together.
You know, something together.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be in.
If nothing else, we just gonna come in and show love to the fam,
right?
And definitely pay our respects to our political prisoners and our ancestors, and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. You know what I'm saying, for us to be here.
Right.
You know, we're definitely not those who try to walk around and pretend as if we put in the work that they put in, or you know what I'm saying, and nah, you know, we honor that. We honor that generation, man, and those generations who laid it all on the line when they said they was a revolutionary. That's what they meant. That meant they was fighting. It was time to fight. It was time to make things happen. You know what I'm saying? By any means necessary. They took that Malcolm X doctrine and they applied it. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that they were going up against the most powerful demons in the world. You know what I'm saying? The most powerful government in the world. And enough can't be said, you know, about what they did. And it's a crime. It's a crime to erase them from the story, you know, simply because they stood all the way up. You know what I'm saying? And that's a crime to rob our children of that example as well, you know. But then you're inundated with stories of white folk who stood all the way up. You know what I'm saying? And then they encourage you to go fight and stand all the way up for whatever cause that they tell you to fight for. You know what I'm saying? And just then now we back to mental health. You understand what I'm saying? Where your life is theirs, but it's not yours. Your life can be laid on the line for them, but it can't be laid on the line for your own community. You know what I'm saying? And so we salute those, you know, for George Jackson to have the impact that he had and still has from behind prison walls. You know what I'm saying? Is stuff that you put in the next Bible. You know what I'm saying? For Jonathan Jackson to stand up and say, no, I will lay my life on the line because for my brother, because he shouldn't be behind the wall. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna go to war for this. And they did it. You have to respect it because the cause was just. Period. You don't have to agree with the methods and all that. The cause was just, no matter how squeamish the methods make you feel because of our trauma, the cause was just.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we've gotten. We got lost in that illusion of inclusion, and that we've arrived shit that we don't think that there's a cause for such actions as that. You know, we look at people who might who will go that extra, and we're like, man, something wrong with them. What's going on? But you don't understand. I don't think that we take it when you say I'm a revolutionary. When Fred Hampton said that, man, you can feel it. You can feel it. But when I hear it, and when I say it, when I hear it, it doesn't have that same machismo or that same, because I ain't having to worry about it as much as Fred Hampton said he had to worry about. I'm not having to worry about it. So we don't have We don't have an or else. That's what I feel. If that makes sense. For us to be to stand strong and tall and say, no, I'm in this. For I'm in this for this mission is more important than what you're trying to wave in front of me or what you're trying to tell me that I'm supposed to calm down for. No, my mission, this mission of African liberation, African independence is way stronger than what they can do, what I feel like they can do to me. And that's the energy that rises up within me when I read about my elders and when I read about the things that they did, and when we walk how we walk, that's what causes us to walk how we walk as well, because we're humble because of those that came before us, but we're even more hungry for those we got coming after us. So I just wanted to.
No, I feel you. I mean, when you talk about Fred Hampton, you're talking about a public, state-sanctioned execution of a child,
right?
Of a youth.
Yes, it was. Yes.
You're talking about a black youth, a young black male who was executed in public.
Right.
Publicly.
Why?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, simply for trying to get food, clothing, and shelter.
That's it.
For his people and for those around him.
Right.
He wasn't trying to take over America.
No.
That wasn't their goal. You know what I'm saying? And you see the so-called the most cowardly act I've ever seen. One of the most cowardly acts to be perpetrated during the civil rights and black power era was the assassination of Chairman Fred.
Right.
You know, and we've become so, and this is the power of miseducation, the power of education. When we do learn about it, we're not shocked enough. Right. Like we're numb to that. We're not shocked enough, or we think it's another time, another place. No one paid for that.
Right.
No one actually really paid. I think his family ended up getting some sort of settlement or something, but no one actually really ever paid. The United States government never paid for that. You know, J. Edgar Hoover ordered the hit. The FBI sanctioned his murder. No one's ever paid for that. Right. And I don't know, it's just, but we've been desensitized to that. He's been written out of the story, just now being really reintroduced into the story. You know what I'm saying? And his being written out, one thing that get me is all of the so-called black leaders who knew through the 70s, throughout the 80s, and allowed it to be written out. And would tell you we can't talk about that because we have a strategy that says if we just don't make them mad, if we just go along to get along, eventually we'll assimilate and nobody will see your color.
That's abusive. That's mental health there. That's abusive because you're acting like an abused person, because you're like, if I just keep them, don't make them mad, don't piss them off. You know, he won't hit me in my eye. Don't make them mad. Let's just ride under the radar.
Do this long thing. So it's like this. Let's say me and you both want to get free. That's our objective, right? You want to negotiate and play the long game. Right. If I'm nice enough to them, tell me eventually maybe my grandkids be free. I'm like, no, we just burn this motherfucker down and do what we got to do. Well, let's say I go for the burn down. They get me and they execute me. Right. You stay with the long game. Let's say your long game work one day. Don't erase me though.
Right.
Don't erase me.
No.
Don't erase me because our goal was the same.
The same.
I just took a different tactic.
That's right.
But don't erase me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the true death. Like, don't kill me with them.
Right.
You make sure you got something built inside the community that keeps my name alive.
That's right. Because he's a saint. He should be a saint.
Thank you. Because I was trying to free you.
Yes. And I risked my life knowing. I said knowing. I gave my knowing. I said all this and did all these things, knowing what the outcome.
Yes. So whatever you do, you can say you don't agree with my tactics, but don't erase me. Don't allow me to not be taught. Don't hide Nat Turner under the rug. Don't hide Robert and Mabel Williams under the rug. You don't do that. You don't put Queen Mother Moore under the rug. You don't put the RNA under the rug because they had a shootout in Mississippi. You don't put Asada Shakur under the rug. You know what I'm saying? Because her cause was just and is just.
Right.
You don't do that.
Right.
And that's the
you don't put move
yeah, you don't put move on. You don't
move.
sweep that under the rug. You don't do that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. They play a very pivotal and intricate
That's
part
right.
in our story,
Right.
in our narrative.
Right.
And when someone else controls how you tell your history, they control you.
Right.
You are not free.
I say.
Period.
I say.
They control your story. They control your past, how your past is told. They control how your future will be written.
Right.
Period.
Right. So this how we coming in on
That's the mood we in right now, boy. That's the mood we
coming
in.
I love it. I love it. If we look at 65, we look at 68, we look at 69, we look at 70, we look at 71, we look at 72,
right.
we look at 88. These are all pivotal. So it's not isolated.
Right.
They was able to get Dr. King, and then 2 days later they got Lil Bobby Hutton.
Right.
What's going on in the minds of the youth?
Right.
He was 17 years old.
Right. That's right.
The same age as
sir.
Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
He wanted to join when he was 14. And they said, no, you got to wait.
Right. Yes, sir.
So he came in at 16.
Right.
What was he supposed to be doing at 16, being a child?
That's right.
The conditions of his people weigh greater on his heart, his mind, and his consciousness than his own childhood, than his own life.
Right.
So if we look at George and Jonathan, we look at Mama Georgia Jackson.
Yes.
Their mama.
Yes.
Powerful.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Without their father.
Right.
So George had to be the father for his younger brother. That's who trained him up.
Right.
In the work that he did in his absence.
Right.
So his only father figure was taken from him.
Yes.
How could he deal? Who could he talk to?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So from their communication, we got the Soledad brothers' writings.
Right.
From their communication, we
Right.
got Blood in the Eye. From their communication, from their visits, in the space and place where he put his mind to see his little brother, he knew what he was ready for, he knew what he was capable of, and he knew what he was doing. Because most of the folks, they pick up that book, Blood in My Eyes, say, yeah, it's in my arsenal. That's one of my favorite books. I said, what was Jonathan do? How did he prepare for his ascent in Marin County? What was he doing to the police?
Yeah. Right. Come on.
They was umming. You understand what I'm saying? You're not prepared to do. And this is why you could look at it, Michael Brown and the Trayvon Martin later on in the Tamir Rice, because of a Jonathan Jackson, because of a Lil Bobby Hutton. And if you don't stream those things together,
yes, sir,
you don't know why there's an assault on Black youth.
Yes, sir. Yes,
brothers
sir.
and sisters. So these are the names that we know.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They didn't care them 4 little girls was in that church.
No. Okay.
So how can we say Nat Turner got hung and leave out Mary Turner?
Come on.
You understand? So this kind of mind frame to where, we get in this little tug of war back and forth. They killed Fred Hampton Sr. Mama Cool is still here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Mama Cool, she still had to live with that. She still had to live with the police department, Chicago PD, shooting up her husband's grave every year. Every year. Could we deal with that? Mama Pam Africa, you got to organize some folks she don't even want to mess with to try to get some headway for me, for Move and for Mumia.
Right.
What it cost? You on one side.
Right.
They on the other side. How much does it cost?
Right.
Delbert Africa was locked up for almost 40 years. He had 6 months of freedom and he transitioned. What it cost? Right. Who prepared to pay the cost?
Come on.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So there is so much to it. Some of these things don't qualify. I call Black August Real Black History Month because we got qualifiers and disqualifiers. Because everybody don't belong.
Right.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You might get by in February, like
everybody talking about in February don't make August.
I understand.
Everybody don't make August.
The town's the 10th, and everybody else can get down in February. You know, depending on who tells.
Now everybody in August can be talked about in February,
right?
But not everybody in February can get talked about in August,
right? There we go. So that's what I'm saying. So in regards to this, you know, this insight, getting this together, you know.
Right.
We only have each other.
Right.
You know,
I say.
And in the words of Queen Mother Asada, all we have to lose is our chains.
Yes.
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 People sacrifice their life.
I remember that.
So she could be where she was and she ain't never stopped.
That's right. That's right.
So when we look at this, we have to look at this in totality. You know, Bob Imhotep was on last night. He said him and his sons was watching 1804. They chose that documentary. You know, we got Race First Awareness Week. Children were crawling inside of cannons so they couldn't fire.
Oh, froze.
What kind of conversation is that? How much did they want to be free? And it wasn't philosophical for them. They didn't have to get all their ducks in a row. They made a decision and they began to move. And the brothers thought they saw the signs, so they got busy a couple of days before it was supposed to get there. And how it would be written in the history book.
Okay,
August 21st. That happened. August 21st.
Okay.
George Jackson. You see what I'm saying? Like there's nothing, that connection is there. So when you're looking at August 21st, you know, before you get to that, you got August 19th. You see what I'm saying? Like when you start looking at that Garvey week, you see a whole bunch of things happening in that Garvey week. You know, that's when we're going to see the Pan-Africans, because we ain't seen them on June 10th. June 10th, ain't nobody say nothing about Garvey. You know, when you get into that Garvey week, though, they're going to be coming out. You understand what I'm saying? So, in that vein, that same time frame, when we start talking about, you know, Huey Newton, we start talking about Yusuf Hawkins, all in that week time frame, and then you go up to the 21st, you see what was happening in Haiti and what was happening here in America. So this little Black August love. And make sure y'all in the building for 17th annual African Independence Day celebration right here. Let me get it together so y'all can get this here. Get this here, right here. Boom. Be right here on Do the Knowledge Radio. Still got some more interviews, got some more things going on. 17th annual African Independence Day, my celebration 2021. Happening Saturday, August the 7th at 1 p.m. from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on Do the Knowledge Radio. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Tell African. We here. Make sure y'all support Uhuru Academy. Y'all see this at the bottom, www.uhuruacademy.sc.org and or Cash App Uhuru Academy. Support and defend our African institutions. They produce our greatest resource, our future, our tomorrow, our youth. So shout out to Baba Amin and Mama Nkoyo, my favorite new African royal family. So with that, we out.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. Night in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the
motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.